Does it matter to Google how old a domain is? And that's why I rank so, I like how those quotes around badly. Um, so, as far as I think there's when usually when people say yes, it does matter how old a domain is. Um, what they really mean is that Google understands what the domain is about already, and usually domains with some kind of age, they've already accumulated some kind of just random backlinks. They might not be good backlinks, but pretty much all sites will just start to accumulate some kind of some kind of backlinks, and Google basically has it on their radar and kind of they're aware of it already, and they're in the habit of crawling it every now and then, right? Um, so I'm on the train of saying domain age doesn't actually matter. It's all this other stuff that happens naturally with age. So actually, in a way, domain age does matter, but maybe not in the way that you really think. Like, oh, this domain's 10 years old, so it's amazing. It's more like, well, Google's known what this domain is for quite some time because it's 10 years old, and it's accumulated a good amount of backlinks, and they're crawling it pretty regularly at this point. And it's just kind of established itself as a player in whatever niche it's in. Uh, what do you have? I feel like we might disagree a little
Well,
bit on
so
this.
I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, so the age of a domain, the best way to look up what the age of a domain is for those of you that don't know is to go to whois.com, and then you can input the URL there, and there you'll have a registration date from when it was first seen as registered. And so the first point of interaction here is the fact that a domain has been registered and owned by an individual or a company for X amount of time. So it has some sort of value, right? And then, like Chris said, that value is compounded via what the domain did over time. And so you can look up what that is using archive.org to see what the website was about how large it was, and kind of navigate what it was historically. And then you can take that even further, go into Ahrefs or a similar tool, and check out the backlink profile. All of these variables are going to create a sort of profile about that URL. The more age a domain is going to have, the more all of this is compounded over time, and the more data Google has about a domain that's been registered and owned by an individual or a corporation over time. Um, in my experience, it's been that the longer the domain was registered and the more active it was, so the more it was in use over time, the easier it's going to be to use that age domain to kind of resonate in the SERPs more quickly. And so, what do I mean by that? I mean, let's say in 2012, there was this website about dog toys. We can look it up. It was very active for, let's say, 2 years. And then in 2014, in archive.org, you'll see that it went to a parking page, and it stayed as a parking page for 5, 6 years. Google's going to be able to catalog all that, right, and build a profile about this URL. Then all of a sudden you come along, you pick it up, and you start reworking it. Well, there's going to be a resonance period there. However, let's say you picked up a domain uh, that never went to a parking page. It just went up to auction. Maybe the name servers never got changed or anything. And so it all stayed active, indexed, all the content was there. As soon as you pick it up, if you start building it out, it's going to resonate a lot more sharply than something that's been sitting like a lame duck for a while. And Chris and I have talked about this, I think, a couple of episodes ago on a domain that I've got that had about 20 years of history with very long dormant periods. And even though it was a age domain with over 500 very targeted referring domains, what I came to find was even rolling a very aggressive backlinking campaign and content campaign on it Took about 6 months to get it back up, resonating properly and trusted again. And then, I started to see the pickup. So hypothetical, I know I went off a little bit from what this question is, but um, does how old the domain is matter? Yes, along with several other variables, like was it dormant for a while? Was it maybe during a period used for nefarious things and got a penalty or a slap? Things like that are all going to add up to what this URL's profile is, especially when it comes to Google crawlers and what kind of data they take in and kind of digest about the URL itself. But the latter part of this question, is that why I rank so badly? No, probably not. If
I'll
you're,
just say this: with a new site with no age, it generally takes more time to kind of get the ball rolling.
yeah, and that's true too. So there's a lot of variables we don't know about this site that you're talking about. But I feel like if you're just worried about, let's say you plug it in and you see that the site, you bought an age domain, but it only has like a year of registration history. Um, yeah, that's not necessarily why you're ranking so badly. It's really, we can't give a concrete answer on this without knowing a little bit more about the site or seeing the site. But it's not the main variable I would look at if I wasn't doing too well and I thought I was doing everything 100% correctly. But like Chris said, if it's an expired domain that maybe you picked up 2 months ago and it's not really doing anything, well, yeah, there's some time left to keep working on it before you would expect to see anything
Yeah,
really.
so it's not so much the number, the age itself, it's what happens in that time of age or what has happened in that time, or
Yeah.
if it has a lack of age, if it's young, basically what has not
Hmm.
happened quite yet,
Yeah.
rather than the age itself. But yeah, if it's a new site, if your site's new, it does take a little bit longer to get things kind of rolling. People kind of refer to this as the sandbox or whatever. Got a bunch of different theories on that. Not going to get really too much into that right now, but basically, as you probably know at this point, in the beginning, sites can take a little bit longer to get rolling if it doesn't have any kind of history with Google. Google basically just has no idea it's there or what it is quite yet.
Hypothetical, if I'm starting off with building a new project out, do I prefer a domain with a long, clean history and age over a new one? Yes, is the answer.
Yeah, definitely. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.